Cole, you've talked a lot about how much work there is to do here to get things right.
Yeah.
4-12 at the moment. When you look around the rest of the division, you see Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota doing well and well positioned going forward. I mean where do you see yourselves in the division race long term beyond this year?
Yeah, I mean, we got a long way to go. I don't think, that's just kind of being real with the situation. I don't think that's being negative. I think that's just being honest about where things are at and where we're at and where the division's at. Obviously, three really good teams right now, and they're all playing their own style but own really good brand of football. And, we got to be able to get to that point if we want to compete in this division. And in terms of specifics as to what we need to get better on, I think it's a lot. So I'd be here for a little while talking about all that. But I think one, just really starting with our operation and details into that. And I know I've been one, and plenty of others have talked about that throughout the season, and it's just something that we haven't gotten going to the level that we needed to. And when you continually beat yourself every game, it's hard to really know where you're even at, because you don't even get to the point where you're executing the right way, and you're really not even getting to those one-on-one situations or whatever it might be. So I think that's just where it starts, and that's where we got to be at. And I know that you get this last game here to kind of go over some of those things, and then obviously the rest of this offseason. But it's going to be a big offseason. It's going to take a lot of work from a lot of people, and obviously we're gonna you kind of take a breath after the season's over, but it's going to be important that everyone gets to work quickly here this offseason, so that we can get to where we want to be at the start of next year.
How do you view the coaching search then, in light of everything you just said, and you guys currently don't have a head coach for next season?
Mm-hmm.
They have O'Connell, Campbell, LaFleur.
Yeah, I mean, obviously three really good coaches, and like I said, three different styles, but all styles that that have great buy-in from from those players, and they're executing at a high level. So, obviously, I'm sure here they're hard at work trying to find the next head coach here, and it's obviously it's a tough challenge coming in here with the division that we got, but also a great opportunity, and looking forward to see where it heads in terms of that direction.
As an offensive player, do you instinctually want them to hire an offensive coach? Is that kind of how
No,
it works?
I think in my time in the league, I've realized not that doesn't matter, but it's more. I think it is more important that obviously, the head coach is the head coach. I was talking to somebody about it's funny how things work in terms of how you get hired and everything. If you're really good at sales, you become the manager, but being a salesman, I don't know if it has any. It's not the same job as a manager. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, sure and with how the league works, usually if you're a good play caller on one side or the other, you get your opportunity of becoming a head coach, but the responsibility to the head coach is just so vastly different than from being a play caller. There's aspects of, having to talk to the whole team, not just to one side of the ball, having to reach out to the other aisle and be able to talk their language as well too, and being able to work with a special teams coordinator, being able to work with you guys, being able to kind of be the political figure of the organization. There's the aspect of having to talk to ownership, the GM. There's the aspect of then actually having to call the play. There's a lot to it, and then game managing. So, it is interesting, in terms of how you rise through the ranks in the league, and that's just how it works. But, at the end of the day, we just hope that, and I just hope that they just get the right guy at the head coach, whether it be offense or defense.
Do you put any value on somebody who's done it before?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, there's people who has track records. I mean, I'm not going to be one to speak for how that translates here or how that works, but I'm sure they're looking into all that.
When you have a game like Thursday where the ball doesn't come your way and it's not the first time it's happened, how do you kind of get your scaled out interpretation of that?
Yeah, I just know there's a lot going on, so I'm not gonna obviously like you said, I've had games where I haven't had the ball come my way or it's been once. It's just kind of part of the situation at this point, and I know all I can do is control what is asked of me each and every play, and I don't think it's been a lack of necessarily anything I've done, and sure, I'm always looking at things where how I can get more open or do those things, but in terms of the receiving game and what I've been putting on tape, I stand by it, and I feel happy about where I'm at in that regard. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of is what it is, and obviously we're, like I said, with the operation stuff, when you're struggling on that end in terms of getting things going, and being good on first down. It's definitely hard to get in the plays and the things that you want to get into, and so you kind of just chalk it up to that a little bit. But obviously, I still always look at areas where I can improve and be better as well.
When you look at the division long run, you're looking, in a lot of cases, you're looking at coach and quarterback. We talked about the coaches. Where do you think you guys are at in the division at quarterback with Caleb?
Yeah.
As opposed to some of these teams like Green Bay that have more experienced guys.
Yeah, well, obviously they have more experienced guys, and experience at that position is huge. So, it's been good, obviously, that Caleb's been able to play every game up to this point this year. So that's always a good sign because it's just more reps that you get. And I know Caleb will benefit from that down the road. And, obviously I still stand by, like, Caleb's super talented, and he's got all the tools that you need for a quarterback in this league. But that being said, you can't replace experience. And, all those teams, they got experienced guys and guys who have kind of been through it. So they definitely got a jump start in that regard on them. But, I do think you see the biggest jumps in guys from year 1 to year 2. And I'm sure Caleb's, gearing up for that as well.
Cole, given what you went through years 1 through 4, what do you make of the significance of Caleb starting 17 games?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, I just think as many reps as you can get early on in your career is huge. And I just look at myself. I've been able to stay pretty healthy through the course of my career, and you can't replace those reps you get. And to be able to stay on the field is huge. And the more reps, the more looks you get in NFL games. I think you grow from it, you get better from it. And sure, it's not always a steady climb up. There's ups and downs along the way, but you always kind of bank those reps that you've had in past, and you can use them in your experiences going forward. So I think it's a big deal that he was able to stay healthy and play this whole season so far.
Cole, with the final game against Green Bay, any additional significance for you, or what's just the mindset going into this final game of the 20?
Yeah, well, anytime you play Green Bay, it's always a big deal. So, definitely a lot for me in that regard. I still haven't beat them, and I want to beat them, and so whenever you get to go play in Lambeau, which I think despite us not liking Green Bay, is a special place to go play, and so excited about that opportunity. And I know they're still playing for seeding, so they'll have some stuff to fight for there. But there always should be some motivation going into Green Bay. That's for sure.
When you say it's a special place to play, do you hear horrible things shouted at you in that stadium?
I do, yeah. I have
Players
some good ones. Some stuff I can't say here, but I will say.
The trust tree, you can say anything.
Yeah, the call back to my brother on the stuff that I hear from the sideline, we laugh about it after the game. So they're very clever in terms of the things that they say, and they definitely they do their homework in terms of your background and whatnot. So I give them props for that.
What did they get in your background? Give us something, man. Come on, this is week 18.
I can't. I really, Jason, I really would, but I just can't. I really can't. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Some of the things they say. You would be astonished at some of the things that come out of people's mouths.
Astonished.
Jason.
They threw 6-3 last week. Astonish me.
How about Jason? Off record, I can tell you some of the stuff. Yeah. I'll tell you some of the off record.
Cole,
All right. Okay. Yeah.
you've been a resource for Caleb all year. As he kind of tries to figure out how to take his second season and find a springboard, what would you recommend to him in terms of the things he needs to take ownership of to push himself forward?
Well, I think he knows the things that he's got to take ownership of, and I think he understands how big going into the next year will be for him, and it'll be a big off season. So just kind of getting ready and geared up for that, and getting mentally prepared. And now how an NFL season goes. It's definitely a long season, and especially the one that we've had with, I think, all the ups and downs during the season. Obviously, a very long camp that we had. So that there was a lot to it that I think he can learn from, and you definitely go into your second year with a little more clarity as to what to expect in an NFL season. And he's obviously dealt with a lot here his first year, so I think those things will only make him stronger. But just kind of gearing up for a big offseason ahead, and you don't want to wish that away. Obviously, take the time off where you can, but it'll be a big year of prep for everybody going into next year.
Well, I know that you stated you think Caleb is a little bit above what the Bears have had before at the quarterback position since you've been here, but we're kind of back to like taking his great throws and kind of honing in on that, which is what we've done with Fields and Trubisky before. So now that you've seen this whole season, what is the difference? What do you see the difference with Caleb that gives you even more hope that it'll be more than just a great throw here or there, and then he'll blossom into?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do still go back to the arm talent. It's still really impressive, and you see the things that he can do on the run, which are just things that you can't teach. And I know the one play that kind of got called back and that he made to Rome, like those are just things that you don't see everybody making. And so yeah, like obviously there's been flashes of that across the board, and then you hope that the experiences that he's had in his first year in terms of being like this is his first time in a huddle doing the cadence and all those things. Those are the things that you want to see really take a huge step next year, and I think they will with the way that he prepares and all that stuff in the offseason ahead. And yeah, so those are the areas that I think that you would want to see, and I think you see most guys take steps in from after year one. And when that operation comes quicker and cleaner, you end up playing faster, playing a little bit more free, and I think you'll see more of those highlight plays from him as that comes.
From our standpoint, at least from my standpoint, it just seems like he's been more deferential than I thought he would be. Does he need to be more assertive? Do you see him growing into that demanding, quarterback guy that,
Yeah, I understand.
makes guys play better,
Sure, yeah, I think there's a delicate line on that as being a rookie. I think he there's an aspect of he wants to come in and prove himself as well to the team and to the guys around him, and so there's that area of that as well. And as you grow in the role and grow in the confidence of your operation, especially as the quarterback here, I think that assertiveness will come eventually. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cole.
So yeah,
You doing, Kyler?
good you.
Good. Well, what do you make of the defensive performance on Thursday night, given the way things have been trending to step up and have the performance that you guys
Yeah, I would just say that's just the defense responding, and just displaying what we say is our standard, and then enforcing that, executing.
You have a season when so much goes wrong as a team. How do you kind of take stock of what you've been able to do individually?
How do I take a?
How do you kind of take stock of it? How do you assess what you've been able to do? Really?
I say the same way I do anything. I look at the good and the bad plays, and I just keep trying to elevate my game and grow in my areas. The same way I do every year. I don't necessarily look at as much as the good, but just look at the weaknesses where I can improve. And I obviously do more of that in the off season, but yeah, obviously you want to do anything you can do to get the dub. So yeah, just constantly finding more ways to produce more.
You can be extended this offseason. Thought to be given to that, and in terms of what would make sense for you and all of that.
Yeah, I haven't thought a ton about it. Like a lot of people started to bring it up to me often now. Really, I've just been focused on ending out the year right and good. I love Chicago. I love the people here, the fans, and everything. So if I'm grateful enough to get that, then that's what it would be. God willing, or whatever He does and chooses. So I haven't really thought about it too much, but I'm just focused on playing football and ending out my season right, really.
You said people have started asking you about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Friends, family members asking.
The whole world, yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, the coaching search is going to be a big deal after this week. What do you sense this team needs from a head coach going forward?
For me, what I would say, if I had to say anything, just come in here and just enforce discipline. That's it. Just be strict. You be a player's coach, obviously, for the players, but just come and be strict, discipline, but just with passion and love. That's it, really. That's all I say.
I go hand in hand with that, but the word accountability has been used a lot since September through December. What does that mean to you as a player? What does accountability look like from a leadership standpoint, looking out at the players?
Yeah, I would say just knowing that for you individually, that everyone can hold you accountable, knowing that you're going to do your job and that we can depend on you. And I feel like that starts with discipline, knowing that if you're disciplined the right way, or the whole entire team is disciplined the right way, that there's just no other choice but for you to do the right thing every single time. There's no second guessing or nothing like that. This is the way we do it. And it's our style, and there's no in between, and no gray area. So that's how I say it.
Kyler, obviously the 2024 season probably didn't go like how you had planned, but what gives you optimism for next season, whether it's on the defense, what you've seen offensively from Caleb? Like, what gives you optimism?
Yeah, I feel like it's just seeing the different spurts and that everyone has had this year, all the guys on offense and defense. So it just feel like there just be pieces off and on all the time, And sometimes we see sparks where it's all on, and sometimes it's not. So I feel like finding those pieces, obviously getting everything in-house, controlled and organized, and fixing the leaks that we have. But, it's just more of those things, I would say.
Do you think just bringing in a new head coach can bring those sparks, have consistent sparks throughout a team? Or what is it going to take to get that consistency?
Yeah, I think that would help redefine some of those walls that we're building up for sure, and reconstruct that definitely with a new coach. But I do think you know, recreating kind of that culture that we want to have in the house in the locker room that we got. So I think that's part of it as well.
What kind of crazy stuff have you heard from the crowd at Lambeau Field over the last few years?
Good question. I really don't be hearing them, to be honest. I just be laughing, but I really can't recall nothing, to be honest.
Tyler,
Before.
as much as the defense has struggled this year, it seems like it's been a year of growth for you. If you agree with that, is that conflicting to kind of look at it that way and kind of separate yourself from the bigger, everything else that's going on? I mean, is this, it seems like it's been, this has been a year of growth at this stage of your career.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's conflicting. I feel like for me, no matter what the circumstance is to be consistent and constantly improve, continue to grow. That's just all I've been about since. So um, it is when, in the sense, when you want to get W's and wins and stuff like that, because a lot more comes with that. If we all eat, everyone gets to eat. So it can be difficult, but at the end of the day, I feel like it doesn't change what I try to do as a player and as a person.
But you feel good about what you've done individually this year as far as where you are in your careers?
Yeah, I mean, I feel solid. Yeah, there's obviously the more I want to do all the time. I'll be trying to find production as much as I can. But yeah, I've continuously growing. Definitely.
On a weekend like this past one, do you watch the rest of the NFL? Do you dial into some of these meaningful games that were played on Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you make of it when you see the high level, high stakes games being played and kind of reflecting on where you guys are at and where you ultimately want to be?
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of those games, you just pay attention, like those details, small things that just kill people. And that's like the main thing. Like everyone's so focused on the big picture of this or that. It could be like, oh, we gotta stop this player or doubling that. When it's like at the end of the day, if you just the team with the best fundamentals is just typically the team that dominates. So I think that's one thing that stood out to me with all these games I've been watching.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.